I don't remember the exact day it all started. The year was 1947, and the air still smelled like war. Grey smoke, broken houses, cold faces. Everyone walked in silence, afraid of their own breath. In that rotten Soviet Union, there was no place for real people, only for shadows, scared to say a wrong word. They came for me in the middle of the night, no warning, no explanation. They just pulled me out of the dorm, put a bag over my head. Said I was needed for an important scientific experiment. And what could I say? Back then, if they called you, you went. If you didn't, you disappeared forever. They put me in a car. The engine roared, the smell of gas and fear mixed in the air. We drove for hours, no one said a word. Then the sound of metal doors, the smell of disinfectant, cold iron, and something chemical. A laboratory, narrow halls, green walls, the sound of air vents. They told us we were helping science, proving that humans didn't need sleep. But I knew right away we weren't chosen to help. We were chosen because we didn't matter. There were 5 of us, prisoners. One used to be a teacher, another a soldier, another just told the wrong joke about the party. They picked us because we were useless to the system. We were shadows, and science needed shadows. The cell door slammed shut behind us. Wires on the walls, microphones, small windows for observation. They hooked us up to tubes. That gas was supposed to keep us awake. They said it was harmless, but it smelled wrong, sour like rust and old metal. The first day was almost normal. We talked, even laughed a little. Some of us asked how long it would last. I tried to memorize their faces. I don't know why. Maybe because deep down I knew it was the last time I'd see real human faces. By the second day, silence. No one laughed. The gas filled our lungs. My brain felt hot, like it was boiling. Time started falling apart. My body was still alive, but my mind was melting. My eyes refused to close. They burned like they were filled with sand. My heart skipped beats. My veins pulsed. I could hear the blood rushing in my ears, the floor humming under my feet. We sat there, rocking slowly, not because we wanted to, but because our minds couldn't stop. By day 3, one of us started laughing, quietly at first, then louder, broken, metallic. Another started singing the Soviet anthem, off-key, crying. Then both went silent, just staring at the wall. And that's when I started hearing voices. Not mine. They came from the corners of the room. Whispering, don't sleep, don't breathe, just watch. I thought it was the gas, but they knew things I couldn't possibly know. Sometimes the voice sounded like my own. By day 4, the air was heavy, wet. One of us started repeating the same phrase over and over, like a broken record. We tried talking to him, nothing. Our words got lost in the constant hum of the vents and the hissing of the gas. I tried to speak, but words stopped making sense. When I said I wasn't sure who I even was anymore. My brain was still working, but it couldn't separate reality from hallucination. The gas hissed constantly like a snake. On day 5, one guy walked up to the wall and just stood there, listening for hours. We watched him, none of us said a word. We didn't need to, we all felt the same thing crawling inside our heads. The people watching us didn't react. I could see their faces through the little window, cold, blank Soviet. They wrote notes, observed. To them, we weren't humans, just data points in a report. By the 6th day, I couldn't understand language anymore. Their words sounded like static. Even my thoughts didn't sound like mine. I heard a whisper from the vents, "You're already dead." Sometimes I saw my mother's face. She was calling me, but her eyes were black, like the gas. 7th day, no more pain. We moved like machines. One of us sat in the corner, rocking back and forth, whispering, "We don't sleep, we are the people of the new world." And I realized the Union wasn't making better people. It was making shadows, and we were the first of them. On the 8th day, the door opened. Scientists came in wearing gas masks. One of them shouted, "Don't move, stay still." But we didn't move. The panic was only in my head. I couldn't tell if it was real anymore. When it was all over, I was the only one left. The vents kept humming, the gas still hissed. I sat in the middle of the room, staring at the others. Their eyes were open, but they weren't seeing anything. That's when I realized I couldn't close mine either. I didn't feel my body anymore, just the hissing. The gas made shapes on the walls, faces. They stared at me, breathing with me. I knew then it wasn't outside. It was inside me. Then the door opened again. A different scientist walked in, looked at me, whispered, "What do you see?" And I answered, but it wasn't my voice anymore. "I see the end of mankind." Darkness spread. Time disappeared. The room became alive. The shadows whispered. The walls breathed. And the light was watching me. I can still hear footsteps in the vents. Voices in the walls. They never left, none of us did. We are still here, the experiment never ended. The Soviet Union fell apart. But the gas is still in the air. Sometimes I hear the door open again. Someone walks in. Maybe it's you. Don't breathe, don't look. Because if you can hear my voice, the gas is already here.